That's perfect. You look great, babe.
Oh, thank you.
Sit up tall now. Yeah, there you
Sit
go.
up straight. Look happy.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Do the people like me? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Hi,
How you doing? I'm Patrick and this is
Ashley.
and we are super stoked to have you guys back for episode 2.
Dos.
Now, if you watched episode 1, thank you. And for those of you, yeah, it's awesome. For those of you who gave us some feedback and some things that you wanted to see, thank you so much.
Awesome.
If you're watching this video now, please hit that like button and tell us what you think. Would love to hear it. So if you watched episode 1, then you know that today we're going to talk about the book, Love and Respect. But there's so much in that book that we decided we're actually going to break this episode into 2 different parts. So the book is fantastic. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the book before we get started?
Sure. So the book is written by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, and he did a wonderful analysis on what men and women need in relationships. Women need love and men need respect, but there's a lot more to it than just those words, and he digs into it in both ways, on both sides, more than anyone else I had ever seen done. So today we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about what it means for women to feel loved, what it means for a man to be able to show love to his woman, and why it's important. Sometimes women don't really know what they need, but they know they're needing something, and they know that they want to be loved. Women get in relationships to be in love, that's why we do this. And the best way to communicate love to a woman is in his acronym, in his description that he calls couple. So we're going to talk about couple today and how you can apply those theories and concepts and how that will relate to a woman and she will receive love.
Because it's not always as black and white as you think it is, huh?
Well, it's just not natural. It's not what you would do naturally. Like a man, men and women show each other that they love each other in their own native way. Mm-hmm. But that's not how you receive it. Like, that's not what I want.
Right.
Is what you do naturally is not what I want, and what I do naturally is not what you want. But it doesn't mean I'm not trying.
Right.
But it's that you're not registering it, and I'm not registering what you're giving.
Yeah.
Until you decide to learn about each other, you're going to misfire. And sometimes you're probably going to hit. Sometimes you're going to land, and you're going to feel really loved by your husband, because he's going to do something that you're like, wow. And he's going to be like, what did I do?
Yeah.
But if he could learn how to do that every day, and girls, if you could learn how to express what you need in a way that he understands, then you have a really beautiful thing, right?
It's huge. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about love today.
I like it.
Couple.
Love, and it's important because love and respect, so the respect is the second half of the book, and we'll talk about in episode 2, right? So
that's the boy part.
The boys, the crazy boys.
It's great.
So I
really awesome.
Really like love and respect, and I'll tell you before we get into couple, one of the things that I was really most excited about when I read this book was how it felt like the most kind of literal guide for me as a man to help show you love. Because there's no question that I love you. And I think for most guys would agree with me that when a guy chooses his person, that it's simple. In the male brain, for the guys. Okay, ladies are like, no dude, it's not simple. Guys are like, it's totally simple. But I think for guys, it's true, right?
Yeah.
But guys, we feel like, we picked our person
Right.
and we're good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And don't you know I love you? Of course I love you. I married you.
Right.
And I come home every day and I am always here and I help pay the bills and I do my job. I'm here and I'm doing my job. What is your problem?
Well, plus you have a lot of respect for your woman too, right? But she doesn't. It's not as important to her as you think.
It's just not enough.
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's
not enough.
It's
right?
a misfire of energy. It's you spending your energy on things that aren't working, and she may not even know that they're not working. She may not realize that you are doing all of those things for her to show her that she's loved. She may just think, well, that's just what he does because he's a guy, or that's just how he is, Mm-hmm. And some of those things are awesome, I mean, there's a lot of really, really great, outstanding men out there that are really excellent husbands and really awesome boyfriends and are really outstanding men that are just doing things naturally, and they're really awesome. Mm-hmm. And all you guys out there that are trying really hard, like, good for you. That is awesome. But what love does in this book, and what we're going to kind of show you today, is how to land more, how to make your energy actually stick, how to go from being naturally awesome to having a strategy on how to love your wife. Like a strategy, a game plan, like you were just saying about like a how-to guide on how to approach your wife and your girlfriend so that she understands. And then, girls are going to benefit from this in ways that they don't even know, just by learning more about what you might need in a relationship and what a guy does or can do to make you feel good. And then also recognizing that, also understanding that what he goes through in this process, if he learns from this book and applies the knowledge, it's not natural for him. So when you see a man making effort, and I think first of all, we really appreciate couples that watch this together. I think that's something that's really important because it is good time together. So kind of time out about that. But when you see your guy making an effort after like maybe watching this video or whatever, and he applies it in your relationship, like that's huge, So really appreciate that and
give him a little love.
Be happy, and do the same back for him. So if he's going to watch this episode and apply the love strategies, and you're going to benefit from that, I guarantee it. When we do chairs next week, which is the acronym for men and how to respect men, pay attention and give back to him, because he is going to be hugely thankful that you did.
And if I can echo what you said, because you're absolutely right, a lot of the things that I was reading in the book about kind of what women need, and it was listing out a lot of the needs and sort of explaining them. I will say that there were some things in there that I was kind of like, okay, she needs that, interesting. It did catch me off guard because it wasn't necessarily natural to me and my logical brain. But I will tell you, for guys that are watching this going, it's a lost cause. It's totally not a lost cause, because the things that I read in here, there was about how to show you what you need and give you what you need, which is ultimately what all of us guys want.
Right.
There was nothing really mind-blowing. There was nothing really groundbreaking that I was like, never would have thought of that. Like, hold her hand, get out of here, dude. No, it was, it's all things that I sort of was able to intuit and kind of understand. Like, okay, it all made sense. And trust me, if I can get it, anybody can get it.
But do you think that, like, did you apply it to, and did you directly start behaving towards me in the ways after reading this?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I did, and I would recommend to all guys and girls that are going to get this book and read it, is to read it together.
Yes.
And then I would say take notes, because I'm dense and a little OCD, or maybe a lot, but I needed to take notes, right? So
Yeah.
what I did was I took notes out of it about some of the things he was saying, and then I tried to take some of those things in sort of a broader sense, and then apply them to us. And
Yeah.
sort of apply them to you,
And what happened?
and then and think about what were my strengths and what were my weaknesses in that chapter and some of the things that he said.
Yeah,
And
I remember him doing
you know,
that.
because it's important too. And I went into this reading it and thinking to myself, you know what, we're not all the same. You know, even all women aren't necessarily exactly the same, and all guys aren't exactly the same.
Right, absolutely.
I feel like the chapters apply to all women.
Sure.
But maybe some things apply a little more to some and some to others. Right?
Sure, but you should read it and
Right.
and
Help each
personalize
other,
it to
right.
yourself. You know,
Actually, highlighted it for me, which was really good for my
I
OCD.
really like it.
Said, hey, if you could just highlight these things, that would be
I was like,
fantastic
let me just
for me.
show
Like,
you.
that
Here,
thing.
honey.
Yeah.
This is exactly.
I'm going to remember that now.
And then I asked him to highlight it too, because
Yeah.
what I did was I took the knowledge and I applied it. I experimented. So I practiced what Dr. Eggerichs told me to do in the book on Patrick, and I didn't tell Patrick I was doing this. I sort of field tested it. And I was really surprised because the response was immediate. Patrick completely, immediately, naturally responded very positively to how I treated him when I changed the way I treated him. When I treated him in a way that this book I just read said would work, I was like, okay, let's see if it works. And it did work. And then it was only after a while, when I did that when I saw that he was really happy and he was getting more and more happy and he was way more involved in our relationship, and he always has been. This is way in the beginning of our relationship, but I noticed that he was just more and more and more coming into our relationship, and I was like attributing a lot of that to the way I was treating him, which was based off of some of these respect principles in the book. It was only at that point that I told him about the book, and I was like, well, it's not me. I'm not just some like goddess that came into your life that knew what she was doing, because I didn't.
Read the book, dude. Read the book.
I read a book, and the book was a great book. So obviously, we highly recommend the book.
Fantastic book.
So we talk
And-
about couple, or sorry.
You know, it's okay. I'm going to do also is try to include a link in the description where you can
Go
get
buy
a
it.
copy of this book for
Read the
yourself.
reviews. I think they speak for themselves.
I think it's very appropriately priced at $199.99, so just under $200.
No, it's not.
No, it's what's it say here?
23 on this copy, but
$23 for the hardcover, because it's good for me.
and get two.
Yeah.
One for her, one for you.
And get some highlighters.
Yeah.
I can't give you mine because I did highlight it for her, so you can tell the chapter
I don't
on
think
sex
so.
because it glows under a black light now. But
Ours are highlighted. See.
it is an extremely good book. So you just got it. We'll let everybody else catch up. And are you ready to move to talk about couple?
Yeah, I guess we ought to.
Couple is the acronym, we already said this, but couple is the acronym that talks about how to show your wife or your girlfriend, but in this case we're talking about my beautiful wife, love, right? And so closeness is what C stands for.
Closeness.
Closeness. So in the book, it gives a whole list of ideas. Right, and this was one of the things that was super helpful for me because every chapter gave me a list of things at the end that says, she will feel close to me when I, list. So I was thinking maybe I could list a few of the things that stuck out to me in the chapter,
Yeah.
and maybe you could tell me what you think.
Sure.
Right, so there was a handful of things in closeness that really stuck out to me. So and one of them was like hold her hand, hug her, the physical touch stuff, right? I feel
Physical closeness.
like
sure.
physical, like, you know, like touching, like hugging, and I am naturally kind of a touchy guy, right? So I'm touchy-feely.
You
But
might know that since you know him, but
a lot. It's because I love her so much. I can't help it.
he's very touchy.
But then the book just shot me in the face because it was like, dude, physical touch. But one of the things that's really important with closeness is physical touch and affection, but without sexual intentions,
Yeah,
right?
that's huge.
That's kind of a big deal for guys, I
Yeah.
think, right? Because
Well-
it was sort of naturally kind of lead to that. We will attribute physical touch to that sexual need is kind of there behind
Yeah.
it for guys.
And I think it's important that you need both. So you obviously need to be close in both areas of your relationship, but women need to feel physical affection from their man when it doesn't lead to sex. It's so that you love them. It's like, there we go, loving, so that you're loving your wife without a motive. That's what it really is.
Just to love, right?
Yeah, when you come up and you give a hug and a kiss, or you like act affectionate, and then you have sex, a woman might think that is why you hugged her and kissed her. Like, your intention with physical affection was to just have sex with her, which is fine. I mean, maybe it's not, maybe it morphs into sex. I mean, you know, we're naturally gonna do that, but try maybe to have some affection in your relationship that doesn't lead to sex. Just a kiss and a hug, and, you know, like, hey, I love you, you know, and like, I just really love you, and that is all it is. Like, that's why you gave her a hug and a kiss that day or that moment. That I think that's really nice. Women need loving affection outside of sex.
Right. So you have to do both, right?
Yeah.
It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
Like anything else, I suppose.
Yes, I
Um,
would agree with that.
I also like to talk about.
You're very good at that too, by the way.
Thank you.
He's the most affectionate person on the planet.
I'm very affectionate. Ask my kids.
He is. He's a hugger.
I like giving hugs. That's not really bad.
What else do you have?
So another one of the things that stuck out to me was, and guys, make it a priority to spend like quality, real time with your wife, with your person, right?
Yeah.
Seek her out, schedule a date,
Oh, she'll like.
you know.
You'll be a
make,
hero to her.
right? Make dinner for her, or even this, like, make dinner and eat dinner by candlelight,
Or face to face.
you know.
Yeah.
And then just you know.
But candlelight can be a little intimidating, maybe. I mean, if you're into that. But going on a walk, maybe. Like, maybe if you're not into like a romantic scenario, because a lot of people aren't. I'm not personally that into romance, like at that level. Patrick is more romantic than I am, I think. But I really like a walk. Like, sometimes he'll invite me to go on a walk. He'll just like, hey, you want to go on a walk with me? And I'm always like, yes. Yes, I do. I do want to go on a walk with you. Like, it's a very nice thing.
Or maybe if you can't walk, maybe you can go and sit on a porch or something together. And just, the point is to spend quality time and talk to her, right?
Yeah.
Get and talk about your feelings and just do anything that results in like
Closeness.
togetherness
Yeah, you're a
and
team.
closeness, right?
Yep. What else we have?
That's great.
Couple. So the next is O.
Openness is O.
Openness.
Not that O. It's a different O.
Openness is really important to me for a perspective from a woman, because when I think of openness, I think about how women relate to other women and how women act towards other women. Actually, I think about this with a lot of these acronyms, but especially with closeness and openness and understanding, those three things. When a woman has a best friend who's a woman, like her sister or her mother or her daughter or her best friend who she's had forever, there are no secrets between them. So when your girlfriend comes to you and she's like, oh, I learned some information or whatever, and you're like, well, tell me. And she's like, I can't tell you because I'm not allowed to tell you. Maybe it's none of your business, you know, and you're not allowed to like tell them. The other girl will be like, well, I won't tell anybody, just tell me. And the first girl will often tell her under the strict guidelines that she doesn't tell anyone else, right? It happens all the time. Girls, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a reason we do that. One, it's because we want to be close to each other. We want confidants. We're like pack animals. We like to be in a group, and we don't have any secrets in the group. So, especially if we're really close to each other. And also, when you tell a girl a secret, you are thereby, they're acting lovingly towards her. It is a special act towards her. Mm-hmm. She's your confidant. It's a special thing for girls. Best friends, girls, my girls out there, all my friends, and girls who have girlfriends, we all do, understand that. When your girls are your people. And so you're close to them. Now, that's one way to look at it. And that is a great way a man can show love to his girl.
Yeah, I would say this one takes a little bit of practice, right? Because for guys, or maybe not all guys, but for me at least, it's a little counterintuitive. Because I get that you need it. You know,
right.
I understand that, certainly.
Yeah.
And I understand about, that you want me to open up. You want me to talk about my feelings and my difficulties and have talk to you about your feelings. And but that sort of like open kind of feely conversation is kind of hard. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely not something that I think most guys are built to be able to do naturally. But guys, it is something that you can do, for sure. You just have to kind of learn, right? Sort of teach yourself to do it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, once I read the book and I started talking to you about it, I loved you enough that it was really not that hard for me to learn.
Right.
You know?
Well, openness is all about sharing your thoughts, being forthcoming with your thoughts and your intentions, including her in your day, including, asking about her day, just being really open about what you guys are doing and how you're living your life, and being very communicative towards each other about what is going on in your brain. Mm-hmm. And maybe men necessarily don't do that very often, and women do it all the time. So when you do that, it makes me feel very, very close to you and makes me feel very, very loved.
Yeah, I feel like the natural setting for
Patrick
most guys.
is very, very good at that also.
Thank you.
He's very good at all of this.
I think the natural setting for most guys is to kind of internalize your thoughts.
Yeah, that's what
most guys
too.
Won't go sit with that thinking about nothing face. I'm thinking. But guys, thinking about something very important.
Nothing.
Like, what color was Peyton Manning's jacket on? Anyway, so some of the things that the book said you could do would be to just open up, share your feelings, talk. Guys, you can always pray with your wife. That's a really good thing to do.
If you're religious, yeah.
That's a very intimate thing. Just give her full attention.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, babe, while you're reading an email on your phone or watching the game or something, no over the shoulder, Just really open up and talk to her. And it kind of goes hand in hand with closeness, right?
Yeah. Yes, very much. The
face to face.
The first three really go together quite well. And the next one is you.
Understanding.
And it goes very well, it goes along with closeness and openness too. Understanding.
I tell you guys, understanding was a big chapter for me. If we go in there's a lot of highlighting because I noticed a lot of things that I really needed to work on. Because this is another one where there were things that I felt were really intuitive and natural to guys that I would just do naturally, that I found out really annoy you.
Oh, really?
It really gets under your skin. The biggest one
That's
for
interesting.
me,
I didn't think you were going to say that.
yeah, was don't try
Oh,
to fix her.
I understand.
Dude, just listen.
But is it fix
Right?
her, or is it don't try to fix things for her all the time?
Well, don't always try to fix, just don't always try to fix her problem. Like, so it would, you come to me with a
Right.
problem
Right.
and talk to me, and so my natural
I have something to say
inclination
about
is
this.
like, okay, she has a problem. What I would do as a guy with one of my friends, if I had a problem,
Right.
I would bring my problem to a friend
Right.
and be like, hey dude, this is the problem that I'm having, specifically because I want to hear his opinion on how to fix my problem.
Exactly.
I want him to tell me. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell him about my problem at all.
Exactly. What Patrick
Yeah.
just said is so true. And women are the opposite. Women will bring problems to other women, basically, and to men, to everyone, just because we need to process it. We need to process it, we verbalize, we need to talk about it, we need to think about it, and by thinking about it and talking about it, we therefore process it. We process through verbalization. We don't need somebody to always come and tell us how to do it. We need someone to just listen to us. And we're going to get that from somewhere. And girls, you know what I'm talking about. When you have a problem and you want to tell your husband and he's like, well, honey, just do ABC. And you're like, well, that's not why I brought it to you. And they're like, well, just do ABC. I don't understand. And then you're like, okay, you know what? I don't have time for this. So you
And
hang
then he
up the
gets mad
phone.
because why'd you bring me your problem?
Maybe, or maybe you're in a relationship where you don't fight over stuff like that. But
Sure.
but the woman, maybe the woman's like, okay, whatever, like you're busy, so you hang up because he's not that person for you in your life, right? But that happens where she'll come to you, I'll come to you, say if we weren't this way, but if a classic relationship, I would say maybe, I would come to you, you give me your response, I'm like, I don't need that.
Not what I was looking for.
But you're like, no, this is helping you. I'm fixing it for you. I'm like, no, I don't need that. So I'll go, okay, it's not that I'm mad or anything. It's just like, okay, you're not the right person for this. So then I'll take my problem to somebody else. I'll immediately call my sister, I'll call my best friend, I'll call my boss, I'll talk to someone about it, I'll call someone I know. They'll listen to me.
Probably a woman.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And they'll let me process it, and then I'll resolve it that way with them. That's fine. That's very natural. That's very normal. A lot of couples operate that way. But if you're a guy and you can be that person for your wife or your girlfriend, and she's gonna have her people too. Like she's
Sure,
not
yeah.
just gonna rely on you. But if you can understand that about her and know that that's happening, she is going to feel incredibly loved. She is going to feel very special, very close to you. You are going to be very, very high on her list, and it's going to go a long way for her.
Mm-hmm. And so what I found out for guys, I'll tell you this is specifically for the guys, and I'm going to do this, I have a tendency to speak directly to the men, but dude, if you're watching this, the trick is to, instead of trying to fix her problem, listen to what she said. So when she wants your opinion on how to fix it, generally she'll ask you specifically for that. And if you get into kind of if it gets to like maybe a frustrating point for you when you're talking to your wife and she brings these things to you, and you try to fix it, and she's like, and she gets more frustrated, and you don't really know why. This is probably one of the reasons, and one of the things you can do to kind of meet in the middle is ask her specifically to say, listen, I just want you to listen, so don't try to fix this.
You're
just
asking
listen.
her to do this for you.
Yeah. To talk about it and understand that this is a sort of a fundamental difference between men and women. And there's a way to help, and that's for her to ask her to tell you specifically,
Yeah.
help me fix this problem, or just listen. And then also, I think another trick for guys is to, if she doesn't specifically ask you for your help, instead of listening to the problem or the thing that she's really talking about, instead try to identify the emotion that's behind it.
Yeah.
So listen more to
And she'll tell you.
her feelings and not so much the words.
If you listen, she'll probably tell you, you know, sometimes she'll say, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed, it stresses me out. Stress is a great way of just saying, you know, I'm feeling very emotional, I'm overwhelmed, there's a lot happening in here. And it does, and you know what it looks like is stress, but that's a weird word, you know, stress, what does that mean? But it probably just means she's got a lot going on. And so, like, look for triggers like that. I'm stressed, I'm frustrated, this has got me angry, I'm sad, I'm upset, you know, that's usually like I have an emotion happening in my brain that I can't handle, or that I'm trying to work through. So yeah, so let her, you listen to that, and if she has those signals to you, it's a really good thing to just stop for a second and just ask yourself, does she need me to fix it? Has she asked me to provide a solution?
Mm-hmm.
Because very often, if you pay attention maybe, or if you know, and women, you should try to communicate, I think, in this way going forward more, if you don't. But women will ask solutions. We know that our men are very smart and valuable partners and can bring us a lot of, you know, thinking about doing things that we don't do. You know, we love a good handyman. For example, so we're going to ask you for help. We know that's why we're with you. Like, you're a resource for us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't need help like that. Sometimes we just want you to be our friend and our partner.
And listen.
And just listen.
And listen for those emotions. And another really important thing for you guys is never dismiss her feelings. No matter how illogical they might seem to you in that moment.
And they will.
When I have no idea why she's feeling that way about this thing.
And it doesn't make sense.
The feelings, even though they might seem illogical, are real.
Yes.
And they're coming from a real place.
Yes.
And if you really want to help and you really care to get past it, which most guys do.
Of course.
Then listen for those emotions and those feelings, because that'll be your key to really get to the problem and help communicate in a close and an open way. But I think it's a really important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Understanding is a really big one. And I loved this chapter, and it's really yellow in there. Almost as yellow as the sex chapter. But. So the next chapter, the next part was peacemaking. And that's big, right?
Yeah, peacemaking is probably a huge deal for most couples. I mean, we are going to have conflict in a relationship. Two people coming together are going to like feel each other out, and it's going to be crazy. But
right.
Not crazy, but
I thought the perfect relationship meant we were never going to argue about anything ever.
Yeah, right.
We got to agree about everything. We're just two carbon copies of the same person.
And we're never going to have problems.
Ever.
And you're never going to have to like hear what you don't want to hear, and I'm never going to have to hear what I don't want to hear, or whatever. Like, we're never going to give each other our honest, actual thoughts.
No.
Because as soon as you do that, you have conflict. Well, okay, that's fine. I mean, and there's a lot of things that come from conflict that are good. You know, you can really bond with each other. And we're going to talk about conflict in other shows, so we're not going to go into that. But peacemaking, it's really important to your wife. Peacemaking means that it is your priority as her partner in the relationship to resolve issues. When a woman has a crisis in her relationship, so that could be a level of like, you know, something massive or something small. It could literally be just a bicker at breakfast, and then you go to work and we're now at conflict. Anytime we're not doing good and we're not like, oh.
I like it when we're doing good.
Anytime there's some kind of break in the normal happiness, that is a crisis to your wife and girlfriend. And it can be at a different level than, and like I'm saying, it can be different levels. But a crisis at all, anytime the relationship is at all on the fritz, if you will, that causes women extreme amounts of stress in their brain. They cannot function at their full capacity and be as productive as they need to be if they're concerned about their relationship.
Until that's like dealt with and kind of closed.
That's right. Yeah, there's a crisis happening. They will literally think about it incessantly until it's handled. And it's funny. It's funny. It seems funny because we're neurotic or we're anxious or we're paranoid. I mean, all these words that you might want to label us.
This is different than a man.
But girls out there will know what I'm talking about when they've had arguments with their husband or they've had problems with your relationship, and then you try to go to work. And what do you end up doing at work? You end up stewing. You end up calling people. You end up checking things. You end up looking for emails. You end up hoping he texted you that he's sorry. And it's funny, and you may seem like girls are desperate, but they're just trying to get that crisis resolved. So peacemaking is important, not just because it's important that you bring 50% of the relationship or 100% of the relationship to your side. That's not really what it's about. It's about that you understand what stress it can put your wife under when there is conflict.
Mm-hmm. And it's not always about being right, too. So this is one of the things this is another one of those chapters that I've read where
they're all good.
Wow, this is a big difference between men and women. Because that same scenario where the guy, we get mad, and then we go to work, we'll come back and be like, you still mad about that thing?
Yeah.
And we stopped thinking about it.
And you forgot.
We were like, oh man, I can't believe you argued about that. And
I did not forget.
A guy will just be like, oh, okay, moving on, dusting off, right? Because that's another, when we deal with conflict internally, most guys, we get quiet.
Right.
And so like when I'm with my guys, like guy friends, and they have an issue, I don't like, hey bro, tell me about your feelings, man. Tell me what's wrong with you, right? Like, no, we do the opposite. We're like, okay, you go over there by yourself and deal with your problems. And when you're done, come on back and watch the game. All right, let's just,
Yeah.
It's totally
Have you ever seen that?
different.
Well, I mean, as a girl, it's kind of shocking to me because I see men do that to men. I see men that are obviously going through problems, and I know they're going through problems. They told me.
And they're almost ostracized. Like,
and they are like eliminated.
I'm not calling him. He's going through it.
Yeah, they're like eliminated from the pack.
Yeah.
And as a female who's used to being the pack, that is like, whoa, you're in trouble. Like if we eliminate somebody from our life, especially when they're going through hard times, that is like really, really not. We don't do that.
Yeah. No, we'll call you up next week. Hey man, you good?
But men
do
all
right.
that.
Hey, we're gonna go play ball. You want to join?
So men are used to being alone in times of crisis, right? And they're used to leaving.
That's one of the things that'll get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It's a big misunderstanding.
Potentially, right? So this is another thing that we were talking about before with understanding and not like asking her to tell you when she wants you to fix it. In this case, peacemaking, guys, if your natural inclination is to get mad and not really know how to handle this,
You feel anger.
and I need to deal with this, your inclination is to walk away.
Of course,
Which-
because that's what you do.
For her, that act of walking away is in essence giving up.
A death knell.
And it is, nothing will hurt her more than you walking away.
It's devastating. Absolutely.
So I think, like I was saying, I think the way to handle that maybe is to say, you know what, honey? I need a couple of minutes to deal with this, to think it through, to kind of deal with what I'm thinking about. I want to resolve this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be back.
Yeah.
But I need to walk away for a few minutes.
But the key there is, I want to resolve this.
And I'll be back, right?
That's peacemaking. by communicating to her that you understand that it is a priority and a crisis, that a resolution needs to be forthcoming, she's going to feel loved.
Yeah.
She's going to think, okay, he understands me. Then you take your time. If you need to walk away, you can. She'll be like, okay, fine, because he's going to come back. You'll be surprised how many women will allow that and be okay with that. Because they know that you're coming back and you're going to resolve it. So then they will understand and they'll say, okay, go do what you need to do. If you need to walk away and take your time and process in your own way, but then come back.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the second part of peacemaking, is make the effort to your wife to resolve crisis. And saying you're sorry first can go a long way. And Dr. Eggers says in the book that women will melt after you say you're sorry to them. And quite often I think you'll see that when you go to her and you do apologize, even if it's just apologizing for the fight in general. You know,
Yeah.
maybe you didn't do anything wrong, but maybe you're just saying, honey, I'm sorry we're going through this. But you're not admitting that you're wrong. Like, you're still going to resolve it, but just say to her, listen, I'm sorry that we're going through this. I'm sorry this is hurting us. You might immediately see her kind of melt and just be like, no, I'm sorry too, and I want to resolve this. And she might immediately put down her guard, and she just needs that from you, because that is a very loving thing.
Right. Be willing to say I'm sorry.
Even
And be willing
over
to
the
it.
situation.
Yeah, even if it's just, you know what, I'm sorry I got mad.
Sure.
I'm sorry that I reacted in the way that I reacted, you know?
Sure.
And then let's bring it back to the resolution and then get past, you know, the hurt feelings.
And that's peacemaking.
Yeah.
That's really good.
The next one is loyalty.
That one's also really good.
And it's big, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Tell us about loyalty. What is loyalty to you?
Well, I think most women will agree with me that they didn't get in a relationship with Mr. Dream Man and commit their lives to him and their marriage and get married to them for them to want somebody else. Most women are one-man women. They find a guy, they hunt maybe for the right guy for a while, or look for the right guy, or maybe they don't, but they come across the right person, and then they commit to him. And that is what we've been taught to do. That's what we want to do naturally. It's what comes easy to us, and this is why so many women get married. They choose a man, and they choose one man, and that's their guy. And I think it's very clear that that's what we do. Can you say the same thing about men? And before you guys start assuming, I will just say that I think the answer to that is maybe.
I think the
Maybe.
answer is absolutely. Yeah.
Well-
Maybe. Well, yeah.
Maybe, I mean, is it as obvious?
I think it
Is
is.
what I really mean, I think.
It's just maybe in different ways. You know, it's funny. I had a conversation today with somebody who is, I think, is one of the smartest people I know, who said to me, you know, most guys would choose infidelity rather than try to fix their relationship. And I remember thinking, wow, no.
Yeah.
No way. I think if we sat down and we strapped every dude to a, one of those machines, those lie detectors, you know, with the guy.
Yeah, polygraph.
Thing, and said, and you asked him, and you asked that guy,
Yeah, no, I know
do
where you're
you
going
love
with this.
your wife
Yeah,
totally? They
yeah.
would be like, yeah, of course.
No, well,
Yeah.
absolutely. But loyalty is about making sure that she knows that, or she's showing her that, and she feels loved when that's the case. Women are loyal creatures, very, very loyal. I've heard a lot of men say that about their women.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is very loyal. You know, they respect that about their women. But I don't know if the men realize how being loyal and what that means, and we're going to talk about that, what that looks like, what that does for your wife. So you not looking at other women and not gawking, or, you know, I mean, the most classic scenario for that, and I know we're kind of like digging into some hot topic right now, which is fine,
Sure.
but we need to talk about it. What I hear all the time from men in terms of gawking at women, gawking or looking at attractive women, is the classic example is, it's
I
just like
can't help
seeing,
it.
no, it's just like seeing a nice car. That's what they all say, and you do too, and you have, but I'm not, you know, that's not what I mean. But
It's
you know what I mean,
Because I'll
right?
expand on that, yeah.
Because you know what I mean, right? Because guys say that, right? They're like,
Right.
it's just like seeing a beautiful car, and I like the lines, I like the curves of the Corvette, and you're comparing women to cars. And women are
Yeah.
like, dude.
I think, I won't speak for all guys, absolutely, but I think what guys are trying to say in that moment
Is that they're
is
visual, right?
that men are visual creatures.
Right.
However, so that might be built into DNA, right? So to see, to notice.
It is.
But, and this is a big part of what he's talking about in this chapter, and what I personally believe very strongly is that while you may not be able to not notice, you can choose. So your eyes see, but you choose where your eyes stay,
That's right.
and you choose where your mind goes, men.
That's true.
And maybe you're mad at me right now, but you know where your brain is, and that's a choice. So one of the biggest things that I took away from loyalty, and especially with regards to looking at other girls and that sort of thing, is to actively choose to reserve those kinds of thoughts and visual things for your person, for your wife.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to go a long way for her. I mean, think about why you married her. You know, think about why you got together with her. This is your girl. This is your dream girl, right? I mean, most men are infatuated with their women. They are, and it's not just you, honey. It's everybody. I mean, a lot of men are. We don't get in relationships unless we're in love with these people, right? And it's very common. So show her that. You know, remind her that. Act that way towards her. She's gonna feel incredibly loved, and it's really important that, you know, she feels like you're very loyal.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Loyalty is a very important thing.
I think that guys will notice also when you do that for your wife, when you really reserve those thoughts and those feelings and those because we're talking about sexual thoughts and feelings, right? When you reserve those for your wife, it has an overall positive effect literally on everything, because it increases your affection towards her, you know, and it's the way it used to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now everything's sexualized. It's all about being like visually stunning, and it's.
It is
I don't
very.
think it used to be that way. Or maybe
No,
I'm
it's
wrong,
well,
but-
of course not, because we didn't have media, we didn't have TV. I mean, the technology has taken off at such a rapid rate. You have access to things you never had access to before. You know, just 100 years ago, it was very taboo to see naked women or whatever. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not really a historian for pornography, but now it's everywhere. You know, like just go walk through the mall and look at the Victoria's Secret in the mall. You know, which is a great shop. I love Victoria's Secret.
Giant posters of women in their underwear.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk about this a lot more when we get into chairs and we talk about sexuality, and also more chapters and more shows after Love and Respect, the book, when we're going to talk about men and the way men are visually and how, you know, this is a challenge for them. So I would just say that if you are going through something like that and your relationship is dealing with that, and we all are, just understand that it's not going to happen overnight, guys and girls. Just give him some slack, cut him some slack, because it is something that he has to overcome. And
Make the choice, right?
yeah, and the world is not exactly designed right now for that to be easy.
Sure.
So
I like the ownership of it for
Yeah.
men to, and that's why I think I stress so much, and taking the time to do it, to stress it again, that men need to own where their mind stays after their eyes notices. I think it's really, really important. And another big aspect of loyalty, because it's not all about checking out other girls.
Right.
Another big aspect of loyalty is the I do.
Reassurance, yeah.
Reassurance. So one of the
You
things
just read my mind. I was literally thinking reassurance.
we do that all the time. For guys in the male mind, which I touched on this in the very beginning, and for the male mind, we dated.
Yeah.
I got you, I did the whole courtship thing. We took you, all the things that we did together.
You were
I
good
asked
at
you
it.
to marry me.
Yeah.
You said yes.
I did.
Then we had the whole, the big deal. We got married. We got pictures. We're husband and wife. Now, we're good, right? Guys, if you're in sales, you're like, I sealed the deal, man. I closed.
Right?
Yes, we are good.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. Like, we're married.
And it's one of the things is really that guys have to understand that when women want the I do.
Of course.
So on the wedding day, the I do is super important.
Yes.
But
That's
that,
huge.
like everything else, is just a fleeting moment. It's
Not everybody wants it.
beautiful
Not everybody
memory.
wants a huge wedding. We didn't have a wedding.
Right.
And we're fine.
But it's a beautiful memory
Our day
and a beautiful
was-
moment.
Yeah.
But what women really, really need is that every day is that I still do. And for guys, I think what you
That's
do
right.
is, and what I do in my brain, is when we wake up every morning, look at my person, and I choose you every
Yeah.
single day.
Right.
And then I think, how can I show you that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and then you tell me that
Yeah, all the time.
all the time.
So,
And I don't know if that's Patrick just being really amazing, because he is, or if he's learned and he's
Amazing.
applied it. I think it's because he learned it in the book through our communication,
and he's part of it, yeah.
and you've seen the results of it. You see me like it a lot.
Well, he
right?
stresses it in the book as
Yeah.
being like a really important
It's
thing.
really, really important. Women need a lot of reassurance that they want to know, am I still the one for you? If we're 50, are you still going to love me? When I'm 85, are you still going to love me?
I'm chasing
You
the
married me at
chocolate
25. Like, we're young. I was single before that. I was looking real good. Like, I had things going on for me that maybe I don't have going on for me now. What if I have kids? What if I have 3 jobs? What if I can't go to the gym anymore? What if I get Crohn's disease? I mean, are you still gonna love me? What happens if I get in a car wreck and I'm a paraplegic? These are like really extreme examples or whatever, but
That's every day for you.
yeah. And women
Yeah.
should admit right alongside me that it is for them too, that women need reassurance. It goes a long way when Patrick looks at me and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna love you in spite of your gray hair. And then I'm like, are you sure?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah.
I'm gonna gray before she does.
And
let's be
I'm like,
honest.
really though?
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah.
for real.
And then I'm like, alright, he does love me.
Yeah. Find a way to show her
Reassurance.
every single day.
It's not what you need, right?
No, because in my brain I'm like, yeah, as much as you know
Yeah.
that
That's
I'm your
hilarious.
person, and you're like, you know that 100%, so do I.
Yeah.
I just,
Without me telling
what's
you
different,
at all.
what's different is that need for reassurance.
Yeah, it's huge for me.
So guys,
For women.
ladies, that's never gonna change.
Nope.
Embrace it and turn that, what is right now potentially like a problem, into a
Right.
strength.
If she's asking you all the time and you're saying to yourself, gosh, why does she not think I love her? Why does she keep asking me?
Like, dude. 180,
Now you know
make
why.
it a strength, and you can totally do that.
Look her right in the face and just say yes.
I love you, boo.
and again and again and again.
Still.
It's gonna go a long way. She's
Yeah.
gonna feel incredibly loved.
Oh, and last but certainly not least, esteem.
Esteem. E, we got through closeness, openness, understanding, peacemaking, loyalty, and now we're at the E of couple, which is esteem.
Esteem.
Esteem just means basically that you hold your wife in a high regard. You know, you treat her like you treat an equal. You treat her like you treat a partner. You think of her as someone who brings value to your life in multiple areas, and you have a high esteem for her. You know, you brag about her.
Absolutely.
You include her on things, on projects and things that she could benefit, or not benefit her, but she could bring
value to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, she can bring value to.
The social events too, right?
Yeah.
Bring her with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show her off a bit, you know.
Absolutely.
Be proud to be with her. She's gonna feel really loved when you do that.
Listen to her and take her seriously. If you have kids, and a big one is to not contradict her in front of the kids. Or one of the things that I do a lot naturally, and I think it's my mom and my dad coming out of me. But it's like, hey, don't yell at your mom. Don't talk to her that way. Have respect for your elders and have respect for your mother. That's esteem.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and listen to her and realize that she brings an insight that you don't bring, and you know, honor that.
So, guys, I think we have covered all of couple.
Yeah, I think so.
Remember, closeness, openness, understanding, peacemaking, loyalty, and esteem.
That's right.
For you guys, I'm telling you, read the book, highlight,
Get the book.
take notes, get the audio book. I don't care, but get the book. It is amazing. And if you want to know the secret to really taking your relationship, and I don't care if you've been married
Yeah,
for 5 days or 50 years.
that's right.
If you want to take your marriage to the next level and make it better,
Yeah.
that's really where it's at. It
Yeah.
starts right there. Now, that's not it. That's not everything.
Right.
But that is a really big part.
Huge.
And can make a huge difference.
And women need to feel loved and men need to feel respected. And couple is how you can do that for your wife. And if you do start applying the principles, you will be surprised at how well
Yeah.
she takes it.
Start doing it, fellas. You will notice a difference. I'm telling you right away.
Let us know too in the comments what you think about all this. You know, if you think that you're gonna apply it, let us know. Tell us when you do apply it. You know, and if you have more questions or you want more specific examples on a certain situation or something maybe that your wife does that you think is not very common, you know, let us know. Shoot us a message or give us a comment or something, and we will try to help you the best we can, because that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to reading your comments.
Me too.
So remember, guys, we are Patrick and Ashley, and we are all the way. And the reason we're doing this, that's the name of our company. It's everything we do. It's how we approach our marriage. It's how we approach our business. It's how we approach our kids. It's literally everything to us, and it's the perfect name. And we are super glad that you joined us for episode 2, part 1. Next week, in the next episode, we're actually going to talk about part 2, which is
Respect.
respect for men. And
Tune in for that, because that is going to be good.
it's not about ego.
It's awesome.
I'll give you a little.
And it's not about dominance either,
No.
girls. So, but it's great, and it's something that I think can really make a big difference for you and your marriage. Huge difference.
It's going to be awesome, and we are really looking forward to having you guys join us.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please like the video if you like it. If you want us to do more of these, please tell us because we are really excited. We want you to be as excited as well. So,
All right.
thanks. Bye.
Have a good night. I feel like it's not centered.
Like last time?
It needs to be over a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, this thing is like got a leg.
Should we ready?
I'm ready.
Should bring in your egg game? Dolly, how do I look? How's my hair?
We're both wearing black.
It's dark. It's mysterious. You can see yourself.
Yeah.